What's going on, guys? It's Eclipse here, and today's update video looks at the most recent update news. Of course, we've got quite a bit of news to cover. We've got the actual update information regarding the K91 line when they got buffed. We've got information on the new Italian heavies where we can actually look at the statistics in-game. As of today, they've been buffed, or they at least got a little bit of an increase since PC, but yeah, we'll take a look at all of the information, and we'll also go through what's going to happen this week with regards to the events, deals, and we've also got the personal offers at the end of the video. All of that is timestamped, so we can have a look through whichever part that you're most interested in, or you can just go through all of the steps in the video's order. Now, first things first. Tanks Reforged. So this is the updates to the K91 line. Of course, we covered that in yesterday's video as to what the actual tanks are that are going to be buffed, but we've got today the actual changes that they're going to be making. So K91, what is special about this tank and what will you actually get with this most recent buff? Well, the main thing, a whole second reload buff, basically. So instead of it taking 7.9 seconds to reload in the K91, it will now take 6.9 seconds. So yeah, you'll be dealing a little bit more damage a little bit more often. Probably a reload buff of around 15% in total. So you'll be able to do 15% more DPM. Of course, this is the K91 here. The 320 alpha damage on its gun is particularly fairly weak, to be honest with you. You're not going to be able to have too much of an impact with such little damage, and even then when you compare it to other tanks of the similar tier like the T62A, this tank doesn't really compare too well. And so do I recommend still playing the K91? Probably not. I don't think it's particularly amazing, and yes, if you are going for the 430U, you will unlock this tank. But are you wanting to spend the 6 million credits on this, or just wait until you actually get the 430U, or maybe just buy a different tier 10 in the process of waiting, even though you do unlock the XP to get this first? Now, second one, tier 9 Object 430 version 2. This is the medium tank, of course. This one is actually quite a good tank, I thought personally, when I've played it before. This tank is actually really nice in game, although it does get a few different problems with it. However, what's happened recently is now with today's update, we now have a increase to accuracy on both of the guns that you can put on this tank. You're going to have an accuracy buff of 0.38 down to 0.36 with the 100mm D54U. And you'll also get a reload buff as well, down from 8.4 seconds to 8 seconds. And then you'll also get an aim time buff of down from 2.9 seconds to 2.3 seconds. So this is going to be a lot more accurate. You're also going to be able to output damage quicker. And so overall, you should be doing a hell of a lot more damage with the Object 430 version 2 with the 100mm D54U gun. Now, the 100mm M63 gun, however, will be having an accuracy increase, and you'll also have a reload increase, so you'll be actually nerfing the 100mm M63 gun on this thing. So definitely, it's probably worth using the 100mm D54U for this time right now. As far as the Object 416, this is the tier 8 on the K91 line. It's basically got some significant buffs. Yes, the Object 416 was probably one of the worst tier 8 medium tanks. I don't particularly think it was that good. Definitely is going to benefit from this armor buff, and the armor buff being the big thing with this update for the 416, and that is that the front armor panel, now on the turret this is, goes from 110mm to 140, so you'll be able to get an extra 30mm of armor, which when rounded and angled, you're going to be having fairly significant things to come up against those tier 6s. They're not automatically just going to pen you through the front of the turret like most of them do. You'll also have increased yaw limit. So by yaw, I mean that you can look 90 degrees to your right, 90 degrees to your left, whereas before you used to only be able to go 75 degrees to your left and 75 degrees to your right. So that's a nice buff for ease of use. This thing's going to be definitely a lot better. Both the armor panel and the yaw limits are the same for the upgraded turret, so when you upgrade you'll also get the same buff, so instead of 110 you'll get 140mm of armor, and you also get the increase to the yaw limits as well. Along with this you'll get hull health of 880 up to 930, and the stock health goes from 1100 to 1150, which is really nice, and that means that the upgraded health, when you're fully upgraded, goes from 1200 to 1250. Now that's not that significant, but it definitely is going to help you survive and be a little bit more longevity within the tank, and so yeah, with all of these buffs it's certainly going to be a little bit better of a tank. Furthermore, frontal hull armor of the tank, which is of course this bit right here that you can see on screen, this whole area will go from 75mm of armor up to 110, which means that you can angle, you can also get some more auto ricochet angles, you can also just hope to bounce a little bit more from doing some of the wiggling motion whereby people shoot at something and then it's more angled and then it's going to bounce. But yeah, I think that these are good changes and certainly ones that have been waiting for the K91 line, and I'm really appreciative of Wargaming actually deciding to go and balance some of these tanks, at least some of them. I think there's still a long way to go, and I'd like to see some of the older premium tanks, T26E4, Super Pershing, T34, we've got loads of old premiums that could really do with a little bit of a buff to make them more competitive, CDC, etc, and I think that looking at those is going to be better than looking at things like the T22 medium, which is the next tank on our list. Not a very big one. You're getting a reload reduction from 9.4 seconds down to 7.6 seconds, which I guess is not particularly that good, but then again, at least it's somewhat good. As far as the next buffs or changes or premium tank balances, we've basically got the MAUs and the IS-4 are coming next. So this is what this kind of silhouette of the tank is that you can easily determine what it is. These are the next ones to come out. Of course, if you think that these changes aren't enough for the K91 line, then of course let me know in the comment section down below, and of course you can always contact Wargaming on their Discord or on the forums, or you can have a look at the suggestions tab within the forums and then put your suggestions there, but you know, it probably won't get too much traction anyway because the forums are just pretty toxic. But then again, if you're interested in just trying to make some positive improvements, then I guess you should give it a go. As far as some other things that we will look at, we've got, of course, the new Italian heavies. We've got the statistics of the vehicles now, so we can have a look at those. We've got the research costs and everything about the tanks, so that's really good. We've got the first one being the Carro d'Assalto P88. This is the Tier 7 heavy tank. It, of course, comes off of the P43 BIS medium tank. And you can basically purchase this for 115,000 free XP, which is quite a lot actually for a tier 7. What on earth? You can then purchase it for silver for 1.48 million, which is quite a lot. But then again, that is every single tier 7 in the game. It's basically a P43 BIS, but just slightly upgraded with an auto reloader mechanic, I think. But then again, it's up to you whether you want to actually pick up these tanks. You know, they're probably not super overpowered. They're certainly not super overpowered on PC. And I definitely think that if you want to check out these in more detail, then you can have a look at one of my previous videos where we went over the statistics of the vehicles on PC. And then you can make your own mind up as to whether or not you want to play it. Certainly the Rinoceronte is one of the better ones in the tech tree tier for tier because of the armor layout and just the ability to put out damage. But then again, you do have to research the tank from scratch, so you're not going to be able to have already got to the tier 9 or whatever, so you're going to have to grind out quite a lot in the next couple of weeks or the next week in order to be able to get this Rinoceronte. So I'm sure I'll see a lot of you playing in the Italian heavy tanks, as I will be, to try and get the Rinoceronte as fast as possible, so I can try and make a video for you, and hopefully it's good enough. And then of course, with everything, we get a premium skin that you can put on the Rinoceronte. It's the Vera skin. You'll be able to purchase it probably for 3,000 gold, I would assume, because that's how much they tend to be. Of course, that might be bundled with a commander, so you can't actually purchase the skin without purchasing a commander, because that tends to be how they sell their stuff, by bundling them all together and not letting you to actually purchase just the premium skin on its own, at least for the first week or so. So let me know what you think of that. Do you think the premium skin is actually nice? Would you actually pay 3,000 gold for premium skins, or do you think these skins are too expensive to be able to actually get it? Now, as far as what's happening this week, we've got a little bit of information to cover. Of course, we've got the World of Tanks Modern Armour G.I. Joe season, which is still available until the 24th of August. Can't really wait until the next season, to be honest. Looking forward to seeing some more tanks and new big update. Hopefully, it will be good. I don't know how well it will actually be, but hopefully, fingers crossed, that we'll get some big changes in the next update that will just improve the game a little bit more. Of course, we've got the G.I. Joe vehicles. You can pick those up until the 24th of August. And, of course, we've got the G.I. Joe tanks and 3D hero commanders that you can pick up for on the 24th up until. But, yeah, we've also got keycards, once again, same as usual. A Heroes Legacy contest. Now, this is something a little bit different. If you want to be able to have the chance to pick up some of the tanks and the premium commanders and a few different things, as you can see on this list, you can always take part in the event that Wargaming are running until the 24th of July. So as of the recording of this video, you've got 4 days. Once you actually get a picture of your real life G.I. Joe action figures, you send them to the email, which is weeklyassault@wargaming.net, you can get a chance of being able to actually pick out one of these rewards. And yeah, it's kind of up to you whether you want to actually do that. Have you even got a G.I. Joe action figure? But if you have, then of course it's worth just taking the 2 minutes to have a chance at picking up some of the cool stuff that you have right here. Of course, it's free. You don't have to pay anything if you win, which I guess is self-explanatory. Of course, we've got the Plague Bringer op that's still going on. I've seen a lot of comments where you're just saying that it's just annoying as hell to be able to complete. I haven't really been focusing on it, to be honest. I'm not that interested in picking up the Plague Bringer. But then again, it is up to you whether you want to be able to do it. And of course, we covered that in last week's news and the week before, I think, whenever it first came out. We've covered that. So if you want to have a look at that, then you can do that on the channel to have a look at the operation itself if you haven't already seen all of the stages. Of course, new Italian heavy tanks, covered those already plenty of times. We've got the heavy tank boot camp, which was yesterday's operation update news video, where we looked at what the actual details were. You can basically pick up some consumables, and yeah, not a bad one. And then, of course, the on-track event to the K91, you'll get the 25% XP bonus and the silver discounts, which are 30% off of tiers 7 to 10 and 50% between tiers 3 and 6. So if you're interested in getting the K91, potentially, you can then use this to get your advantage. And what's good about this is that you'll actually get the XP bonus towards the Object 430U if you haven't already got the Object 430U within World of Tanks console. So if you're interested in that, use this to your advantage and be able to grind through the K91 and then grind through the Object 430U. So you can basically do that at 25% extra speed, basically. So if you're interested in the 430U, which let me tell you is pretty broken tank, then of course you can use that to your advantage. Long haul, as with every single week. I don't know why they keep putting this in the update news, but yeah, it comes out again. Obviously, placing the top 7 XP earners on your team 75 times, not worth it if you are just going for that operation, but it's kind of something extra on the side. If you're very close, then of course go for it. If you're on like 68 games and you've got 1 day until it resets every week, then yeah, playing the extra 8 games is probably worth it. But if you genuinely play about 40 games a week and you're thinking, should I grind out the extra 35? Trust me, getting 200 gold from a confidential keycard, which you pretty much get every single time, is not worth spending the extra 35 games grinding out and not really having too much fun. So yeah, just take it at your own pace. Don't try and use the long haul to abuse it to get loads of gold, because to be honest with you, it's not that fun grinding out games where you're not really enjoying it. and just having to get those wins, or coming in the top 7 as well. So it can take you, a long time to be able to get the 75 battles where you place in the top 7 every single time. Yeah. Next thing, Tank Commander PvP event, where you can pick up that Tier 6 M4A3E8 Thunderbolt 7 medium tank, which is an okay tank. I don't think it's particularly super overpowered. It's definitely not terrible, and it's probably in the region of a good Tier 6 that you can pick up. Of course, you'll have to do that by completing variety of operations. You can learn about that in yesterday's video as well, so at the end of this one I will have it linked where you can just click on it, or you could just go to my channel and click on it, whichever you prefer, but yeah, you can have a look at the details on that. As far as the weekly deals, we've got 50% off of the Tiger 1 hammer and the Cromwell B. Now, the hammer, fantastic Tier 7 premium tank. It's a Tiger 1 that earns you credits. 4,000 gold, probably worth it if you haven't already got it. I got it a long time ago through an earn operation, where everyone who played the game, it's probably a long time ago now, probably like 4 or 5 years ago, maybe, when the hammer first came in, then yeah, you can pick it up, have a good go in it, and 4,000 gold isn't, the breaking the bank too much. And then of course the Cromwell B, one of my favourites at Tier 6, this thing just looks cool. I think that it plays really well in game as well, and for 1,900 gold, I mean, come on, that's like, what, £4, £5, something like that, and I mean, if you're willing to spend £5 on a bottle of beer, then yeah, you may as well pick this tank up because you'll have plenty of enjoyment over it, and it doesn't last about 15 minutes. So yeah, really good tank, definitely one worth picking up if you're interested in the medium tanks, and if you like the Cromwell, then this thing is really good. Just be mindful that it's not as fast as the Snakebite, don't get me wrong. Don't think that this thing is going to be going 90 kilometers an hour around everywhere. It is fairly slower than the actual thing, and it's more comparable to the actual Cromwell rather than the Snakebite. As far as community streams, we've got one on the Friday 23rd, which is a community update stream, and then on Monday, July 26th, is the insider information. So yeah, if you're interested in either of those, then they occur at 2 PM Central Time or 7 o'clock UTC. So just convert that to whatever time zone. I always get confused of where you are. So yeah. As far as the final things within this week's news, we do have the personal offers, which are the T6 Tier 6 heavy tank from the Japanese line, I think it is, the T6 100. We've also got the Sherman Grizzly 1 and the T34. How good are these tanks? Well, the T34 American one of my favourite premium tanks, but trust me, that's not because it's good, it's just because I like the look of it. I think it's really cool, and it plays fairly quite nicely. It's got good accuracy, fires on the move very easily. You can have some nice games in it. The DPM sucks, the armor really isn't all too good. You've got to play it hold down, and if you like the T29, then I guess it's a similar kind of tank, just a lot less competitive. Then of course Sherman Grizzly, it's just a Sherman, and then a T6 100, which is okay, I think. Other than that, I hope you guys did enjoy the video. If you did, please hit that like button and subscribe for more update news coming to you very soon, whenever it gets dropped on the Wargaming website, or if we decide to have a discussion about the update, then I will make videos on all of that. And of course, we have the Update 6.0 gameplay on the channel that you can have a look at, as well as guides, gameplay, all sorts of World of Tanks console videos that you can have a look at. And if you want to check out some PC content, I have got a separate channel on my channel list on my channel, so you can have a look at that. It's just my World of Tanks PC channel that runs alongside. So yeah, if you're interested in any of that, then feel free to have a look. And of course, let me know what you think of this week's update. And if you've played the Italian heavies, what do you think of them so far? Other than that, hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and I hope to see you in the next one. Goodbye.